We knew about Doc, we knew about Iceman, you know, but there wasn't this great talk about how great the ABA was. But why do you think that was the case? Like such a league as great as it was, that there really is not a lot of history that
Yeah.
we knew about.
Well, you know how you had asked me early on, like, why would the NBA ever have any responsibility, which was a really good question. And they were competitors, right? So when the NBA did not like the ABA pushed player salaries up, it pushed player autonomy. The players' associations in both leagues were going ballistically good and succeeding with the two different leagues existing. Players were, gaining power as it relates to their negotiations with owners. And so the NBA didn't like that, right? It's costing them a lot of money, and the
Yep.
fans like the style of play. And so there's a lot of the old guard, old school guys back at that time period at the NBA who did not like the ABA. So when they won the battle, they said, right, they realized you guys are going to go out of business anyway. So we're not going to do a merger. We'll take the four most successful teams, the Nets, Nuggets, Pacers, and Spurs, but you guys are going to each pay $3.2 million in 1976 money. And
Damn.
then on top of that, they said to the Nets, you are going to have to pay an extra $4 million because you're going to be competing with the Knicks. So you got to pay them $4 million, which is why they had to give up Doc
Wow.
to the Sixers.
Mm.
So,
Wow.
and then they took away draft choices for all four teams for 3 years. So the NBA, I think, just swept everything under. Like, we don't like these guys. We don't like any of that. They're just gone.
Yeah,
And then it's hard to resurrect something after it's been buried that long.
Yeah,
yeah,
because most of the stuff that we hear about the ABA, I hate to say this, but it's been almost like a parody. So you get like
Yeah.
Jackie Moon,
Yeah.
we get stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, borrowing from The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh, which I think is an incredible movie,
Yep.
gives us the closest real,
Yeah.
but other than that, it's been kind of like parody type,
Yeah. I completely
environment
agree
out
with
there.
you. But you know what's funny, and this is going to get lost to history too, if people, Soul Power, and that really, man, a talented young man is the director of Soul Power, Kenan Kamala. And I was fortunate enough to have some conversations with him when he was whiteboarding the whole story, and I got it to play a small part in that. And I said,
hmm
you've got to look and see, like, you can actually measure this, like you can, because the parody is surviving. You're right, but to get over that, go back in time and look at how many ABA players are in the Hall of Fame now. Go back and look at the statistics I was giving you before about how many ABA guys. 12 of the 24 all stars in the NBA were ABA guys the first year after the merger, and 5 of the 10 starters in the NBA Finals. And then I was telling him, I said, you also got to look at the times the leagues played each other. The fans pushed the leagues to play interleague games. And
yep,
the ABA beat the NBA significantly more times when they played against each other.
yep.
So, you know, it's to me, it's self-evident if you actually care about the game and you educate yourself about what actually happened. Jackie Moon that's just Hollywood goofy stuff.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
I also think it was perfect timing for the Soul Power guys to bring that film right. I think it was right before the All-Star game or during the All-Star game that weekend, and when it
Yep.
dropped,
Yep.
and it was number one for a whole week straight
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
Amazon Prime.
it's real, man. I mean, I was at most of the shoots, and I watched it myself, of course. And they are telling the real story. It's just there's so much more history and culture, and the league NBA owes such a debt, like Charles Barkley said in the film, such a debt they owe. And I hope young players today will take the time. I wouldn't have done it at that age, so I'm not being critical, but I hope some special young men who play today care enough about the game to go back and learn about these guys and give them some more respect before they're gone, because those
Yep,
recognition payments only went out to 115 guys. They had to be 3 years in the ABA. They could not have played 3 years or more in the NBA. And the amount they got,
Wow.
even though it was publicized as 25 million, those are actuarial numbers, you know. So
Yeah,
if
right.
everybody lives to a certain age, theoretically, that's what they get. But when you split it up, the real talk is each player is getting somewhere between $11,000 a year and $32,000 a year, and it's taxable. So
Mm,
that's not changing anybody's life. It's making
right.
some of their lives easier. But you know what I mean?
We can do more.
Yeah, for sure.
We can
Well,
do
I
more.
think I think the league can do more. I mean,
Yes.
we're just talking about, man, sniping off a percentage, whether it be from TV contracts, whether it be from Nike, Adidas, whoever. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, this is so much more can be done. But let's talk about the Soul Power docuseries, because first of all, man, it was incredible. Just to see the guys that played, talk about the history, but I love the games they showed. Like we
Yeah.
don't get to see those
Yeah.
games. That's
Yeah.
one of the crazy things. I'm watching this and I'm looking at some of the moves these dudes making. I'm
Yeah.
looking like, yeah, they could play in
Yeah.
today's
Yep.
league. Yeah.
Yep. Well, and you
I
have to
mean,
remember too, even that footage, which they got a hold of some really cool footage, some archival footage, but even that footage is poor quality technically, right? But you can even
Hmm.
still see, even with the poor technical quality, you guys saw it, man. Basketball is basketball, and you can
Yep.
see the level of athleticism and basketball that's being played by those guys, and it was phenomenal. That's why everybody in the stadiums in was like in awe. I mean, you were just in
Yeah.
awe.
Hey, every time I see Connie Hawkins, oh my God, the Hulk. That was on the back of his jersey.
Yep.
Just the Hulk.
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah, that's the other thing, you know what?
who's
This
the
is the
modern day Connie Hawkins? Who's the modern day Connie Hawkins right now?
and that's tough because can I tell you guys something that your viewers are gonna hate me after I
Nobody.
say this? I'd say nobody. I mean, I'm gonna sound they're gonna say, "He's an old
It
head,"
might not
you
be
know?
no. I think there's one guy that who got hands like him.
Yeah?
There's a Kawhi Leonard out there. he
Oh
got
man,
them.
he couldn't hold Connie jock strap.
Listen, listen. He probably couldn't, but have you seen his hands? He got them Connie
It is
Hawkins hands.
it is
I
crazy
mean,
how Connie just swung that ball around like that, you know, like, but then but look at George McGinnis. I mean, George McGinnis shot the ball one-handed and in the ABA, and he was built, man, he was built like LeBron, and he had no nutritionist, he had no weight training. That's just what God gave him, man. He was just built.
and I
They
mean,
called
they
him
had
the
the
baby
A
bull.
Train. I
Mm.
mean, when I look at
A
these guys
Train.
like Artis Gilmore, first of all, we love them in the Bulls uniform. By the way, we love
Yep,
them there.
I
But
bet.
but the fact that how great, like I wish we like I didn't even know until first of all, let me just say this about the Soul Power, man. And my question for you is this: why do you think this docu series is needed now?
I think it's critical now because this is the next season, the NBA will celebrate the 50th anniversary of the merger between the ABA and the NBA. And the partners of theirs will come out for 1 year, right? And they'll have throwback unis, come out. It'll be cool and fun, and the ABA players will get nothing from it. And maybe they'll come out with some sneakers, that has ABA relevance, and then the ABA guys will get nothing from that, and then it's going to be over. And these guys don't
Yep.
have a long timeline now, right? This is the 50th anniversary of the so-called merger, and I believe with all my heart, man, just speaking real truth here, that if you're going to go out and make money off the backs of these guys, the NBA has done it. The NBA players have done it indirectly, the NBA has done it directly, and Mitchell and Ness and Fanatics and Nike Converse and Wilson, they're all doing it directly. And the
Yep.
least these companies and this league can do, and the players, is take care of these guys, give them some respect before they're gone, because they're going to be gone in the next 5 to 10 years. They're going to be
Yep.
gone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So how does your company, Lana Sports, tie in with the ABA and how did that come about?
Well, initially, it came about the same kind of way. Dropping Dimes could not get involved in that because Dropping Dimes is very simple. No one gets paid. Nobody gets paid anything. And
Yep.
that includes law firms, accountants, directors, whatever. Nobody gets paid. You have to volunteer to be a part of us. And we do that. John and I decided to do that at the very beginning. And we said, even if we have a fundraiser and we need to pay $1,000 catering bill, then John pays 500 and I pay 500, because nobody who donates money, their money goes nowhere except to the players. And we've always been very proud of that, right? So we couldn't
Yeah.
go out and do anything commercially with Atlanta Sports. So I talked to John and I said, "Hey, the players are all asking why doesn't the ABA get merchandise? Let's do it. We'll merchandise it." John's
Yeah.
position, his position was different than mine. I'm an independent guy. I'm at retirement age. I don't care who I piss off, in business now.
Right.
But
Right.
John's still the Pacers doctor, and he's been their
Yeah.
doctor for a long time. So he's like, "Do you think the NBA is going to get sideways with us if we do that?" And I said, "Yeah. Yeah, they're going to get sideways with us if we do that." So he didn't play a part of it, but only for that reason. So then I went out and I started it. I named it after my mom, who we lost a long time ago, because I knew it was kind of a crazy effort. She was very eccentric and loving, and we called Atlanta Sports, and I said to the guys, "Let's see if we can merchandise something." And it ended up being too complicated, to be honest with you, to try to figure out how to get it done with NIL rights and contract rights and trademark rights. So I ended up just going. I got my son involved. He's a great businessman. He left a nice job to come and join me. It's just the two of us, and
Mm.
we filed the registration for it. We got the patent in overseas for the ABA basketball. We got it in Europe. We got it in Asia, and we filed for all the rights here in the United States. And then we started selling it. And then we did get contacted by the NBA, and I can't really make any comment about that except to say we played nice with each other, and we just said, "Why don't you guys then, NBA, we'll acknowledge you own the rights." But we want a license. We want to be able to sell it as an official NBA product. So that's how
Yeah.
that happened. And so far we've donated every single penny of profits have gone to the Dropping Dimes Foundation.
Wow.
And that's not, I mean, you're talking about probably about $15,000. It's not a crazy amount of money, but I've never taken a penny out of the business. So I plan on doing it at some point. I mean, even Rick Barry's yelling at me and going, "You got to do something, man. You got to start taking some money out." So we'll maybe turn it into a profitable business at some point. Lightning might strike, but to date, it goes to Dropping Dimes.
Hey,
Now,
Scott, let me ask you this. If you go to Atlanta Sports, I've been there. Now I've seen that you guys are doing ABA T-shirts, the teams hoodies and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
You know, you can get the ball and the merchandise now.
Yeah, man, we partnered with Homefield. My son went to this cool have you ever heard of Homefield Apparel? They're an up and coming, they got a PE backing now, but they're an up and coming Indianapolis-based apparel company, and they have done everything NCAA. And they're just
Mm.
exploding, right, with IU football, and they've done real well with NCAA basketball. So we came to them and said, "Can we partner with you and do ABA apparel?" And the NBA agreed. We did it in conjunction with Soul Power. It dropped the day after Soul Power dropped, and it's been going really well. And those are some pretty sweet. Nobody's done that since the merger. Nobody has actually had NBA licensed ABA merchandise. We also have
That's what's
trading
up.
cards. Did you see the trading cards? We've got
I
some of
see
those
the
out there.
trading cards on there. Them look pretty
Yes.
slick. Those look
Yes.
pretty slick. I like
Yeah.
the packaging on it too, man. That's tight there. I like
The
that.
the first set we came out with, we actually put a stick of bubble gum in it, like old school.
Yeah.
But that
Uh,
honestly didn't go over very well because guys were buying, because if you don't sell out real fast, you're getting a nasty stick of gum that's messing up the cards and it doesn't taste good anymore and all that. So we dropped it the last round.
well, Tuss
Okay.
Agee said he wanted that limited edition ABA whiskey set. That's what I'm just saying. He said that. You know?
Hey, man. You know who put that together? You know who designed that?
Who's that?
Darnell Hillman.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Darnell's a partner in the business. So how crazy is
See,
that right there? I mean, like, I'm sorry, but I think that's crazy that when I was a kid, Darnell Hillman was by far my favorite player. I mean, I remember asking my mom to drive me to the mall because he was signing autographs, and I still have to this day the yellowed, little poster that he signed for me. And now he and I are best friends. We take each other to go pick up vintage trucks. He's part of the business, and he came up with that whiskey set.
full
Wow.
full circle moment right there.
Full circle. Yeah, doesn't get any better than that, man. And he's a better person than he was a player, and that is saying a whole lot.
Do we
So
still got
I
the
guess
perfect afro?
He doesn't. He's had to shave it down, but he's got a great story. You should have him on your show sometime. You know where he got the idea for his afro? You could do a whole show on this. He went to school at San Jose State, right? And he grew up in Sacramento, and he's a stud out at San Jose State. And but San Jose State was going through some serious civil rights issues at that time, and the black athletes were at the forefront of starting a more militant civil rights movement called the Black Panthers. So he's involved with the Black Panthers, and he's on the track team with Tommy Smith, the guys at the 1968 Olympics, the
Yeah.
Black Power guys. He's track mates with them. And so these guys, they staged a full scale walkout for civil rights. They did all kinds of stuff at San Jose State. And you could have an entire and so anyway, his afro, he told me, came from Angela Davis, who I don't know if
Really?
you guys Angela Davis
Yeah.
was the Black Panther
Yeah.
Oh,
who
yeah, yeah.
she ended up shooting a cop, and obviously different sides to the story, but
Yep.
her, but she ended up shooting a cop and she left the country, and but she was one of the people who started the Black Panthers, and Darnell will just say, man, her afro was like huge. It was huge, and I'm watching it, and she's looking beautiful, and it was about Black empowerment, and he's like, that was me. He's like that's so.
Hey, that was so crazy and soul power for him to talk about that. Him and Dr. J. He's like, man, Darnell Hillman told me how to get my fro real round and
With the cake
trim it. You say
cutters.
you want to
So
blow it out. You
yeah.
say you want to blow it out. Then you want to go to a barber and let them trim around it and never have perfect.
See, one of the things we've lost, I hope we get it back now, but I swear, I think one of the things we've lost in today's world is black guys and white guys being able to talk freely with each other because there's no reason not to. And
Yep.
Yep.
and one of the things about that is the cake cutter, right? Like I had a white friend of mine who saw that segment, and he said he goes what do they mean a cake cut? What's a cake cutter? And I said, well, like if it's a cake, like if you got angel food cake and you want to cut it, it's a lot easier to cut. And he goes, I don't, you just use a knife. And I said, trust me, there's a cake cutter. And he goes, why would you run that through your hair? And I said, so you don't remember guys like in high school, you don't remember because they could be weapons too, but they were in your back pocket, and
Yep.
they were cake cutters, and that's what black dudes used to tease their afro.
Yep.
And I was just stunned that there's this guy who's my age who didn't even understand that that's what cake cutters can be used for, And I'm like, okay, there you
Yeah.
go.
It's one of the things I really wish, man. I wish that the docu-series wasn't just on Prime. I wish it was like,
Yeah.
on, ABC, CBS, NBC, one of them, because I think
Yeah.
everybody needs to see this, man. Not just from the history of the game, but yet it but this just needs to be seen because it teaches, like you were saying, you talk about race relationships, man. Like I'm
Yeah.
watching, these dudes still talking trash to each other right now.
Yes, they
you
are.
know,
Yep.
it was,
Yep.
but you see the
And when you
love and the bond there. I mean, it
yeah.
was like this is this
Yeah.
is this has just been so incredible. I
Yeah.
want to ask you this, man, because I'm not sure, but the ABA still exists on some level. Is there? Because they call themselves the real ABA.
Oh, right.
Uh, there's a league out there that's still playing.
Yeah.
Are you all connected with that, or is that something separate?
That's something completely separate. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, some of the guys, I don't want to talk negatively about that league because I mean, honestly, I don't know that much about it, but I do know that from the players' perspective, they feel like it's a little disrespectful to connect it directly to their league because their league is comparable to the NBA. and
Gotcha.
um and so they don't, but there's nothing against it. There's some tremendous athletes in that league, I'm sure, and man, I wish
Yeah.
I was good enough to have been able to play in a league like that. And they seem to be growing, and so more power to them. But I do know that the ABA players themselves feel a little bit like, hey, wait a minute, we didn't play in those conditions. We played in big stadiums, and we played against the NBA, and we had Hall of Famers. So
So this is what I'm going to say, man. This is what I think that the NBA should do right now. And y'all tell me if I'm wrong with this. And AG know how my mind thinks sometimes. I be out there. But I think one of the greatest honors the NBA, outside of taking care of the guys financially, is rename the G League ABA.
Mm.
just out of respect.
Yeah,
Just out
I
of
mean,
respect.
I'm the first thing I thought when you said that is I thought, did you know that the Salt Lake City G League team, they embrace the ABA. They just had a throwback night, and they were wearing their throwback 1971 Utah Stars unis.
And everybody in the league should wear. They should have the ABA names. It
Yep.
should be those
Yeah.
names.
Yeah.
That would.
They sure need to
Wow.
do something more, don't they? Because it's real history, and I think if people just took the time to think about why the NBA buried the ABA back in the 70s, right after the merger, right? Because that's what you're going to do to your hated enemy. You're going to bury them. You won. So, but when you think now in terms of overall history and the players, that shouldn't be like that. The stats from the ABA should be recognized by the NBA. If the Negro League stats should have been recognized by MLB, and they were finally, but
Yeah.
you make a much better argument that the ABA players. I mean, how crazy is it that Julius Erving's 5 years in the ABA, his stats don't count towards the NBA? I mean,
Wow.
He'd be a
and
lot
he did,
higher up on that
and he put
list.
up most of those points for the Nets, an NBA team.
Yeah.
You know.
He'd be a lot higher up on that list.
You know
I
where
Oh
he'd be?
mean,
man.
He'd be number 7 if you add in scoring. Number 7 all time.
that's
Man.
crazy. To think right now, Doc would be number 7. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which means years ago, Doc was probably top 2, 3 then.
Yep.
I mean, if you
Hey,
think about it.
Yeah.
hey, Will, the two baddest white boys, Bobby Jones and Rick Barry.
Oh, first of all, man, I used
Yeah.
to love some Bobby Jones. But see, that's the thing, man. We really didn't get to see the ABA Bobby Jones. We saw the 76ers Bobby Jones,
Yeah.
which he was a beast.
Yep.
And that's why I love seeing the footage that we did get to see. But actually,
Yeah.
one of my favorite parts of the docu-series was when I don't know who said it, but he walked in and he was talking about he said I used to kill him all the time. I was like, man, this dude's 70-something years old, talking about he was doing dudes in the league. Like, I take him right now. And then I love how they show the connection. Like, I didn't know that what's the kid from Chicago, Agee, the rapper, Common, had connection to that. Like, we need to see more of that. Because I think those guys making that connection draws the younger folks into it too. It's like, man, Common, what's the ABA? Oh,
Yeah.
that was his. Wow.
Well,
So,
do you know, is it Saquon Brisker? I'm not an NFL guy, but is it Saquon Brisker who plays for the Bears?
I'm not
There's a
sure. You know,
Brisker.
AG?
There's
I'm
a
not sure.
there's a Brisker who plays for the Bears, and he is the grandson of John Brisker, who played in the ABA. And do you remember? Was it Quincy Pondexter who played in the NBA for a while? His dad played in the ABA, and of course, Rick Barry had several sons who ended up playing in the NBA. So there's a lot of family history there. Roger Brown's grandson Hudson is playing in San Diego right now in college. There's
That's
a lot of
crazy. I remember that from the docu-series. It's so much there. And man, we done had you for about an hour. Thank you so much for being here. I have one final question. Then my man AG got one final question for you.
Okay.
My question for you is, what do you want us to get out of this, from the docu-series to what you're doing to raise awareness? What's the hope for you?
Well, my hope, I have 2 big hopes, and I'll be quick about them because you guys have given me a lot of time here to express myself about this. But one of them is that people learn more about the ABA and why it was so important. And instead of thinking about it like an old league, learn why it was so important. And that goes from basketball to culture to, it's much bigger than just the 3-point shot or whatever. You know, it's race relations in America. It's not an understatement or an overstatement, sorry, to say that race relations in America were sped up by the ABA. I mean, it just did. The ABA integrated. It's probably Ice Gervin said it in the series. It's first integrated workspace in America. And it was the first time fans were watching white guys and black guys playing together when you knew whoever was on the floor was the best player. I mean, that didn't happen in the NBA, you know? And so, so first of all, figure out and learn why it was so important culturally, historically, and from a basketball perspective. And then number two, it would be remember these guys are still here today and they're still watching, they're still experiencing themselves being forgotten even after all these you know enduring things that they brought to professional basketball and to culture, and they just deserve, they're humble men, they're very humble men, you know, and they just deserve some respect and some dignity before they're not here anymore.
Beautiful. Well said. Beautiful. Well said. Well, I always ask this question of our guests, and it's the last question of the day. What is the next Hoop Dreams chapter in the Dropping Dimes Foundation?
That's a really good question too. Like I think because with the recognition payments, there's less direct need, but we're still getting some. Trust me, like you know, we're still getting requests for medical help with paying medical expenses, and but John and I have talked about it, and what we'd like to do is maybe see this transition to a scholarship based organization where we then carry on the legacy of these great players by providing scholarships to some of the players who played in their hometowns and their schools, and set some standards that relate to not just athletic ability but also respect for sports history, and then you know keep their memory alive through scholarships.
Beautiful.
I love that, man.
Beautiful.
Come on, NBA, do more. Do
Do
more.
more, man. Do more.
More.
Come
Well,
on, Adam
listen,
Silver.
absolutely. Hey, Scott, we want to thank you, man. But before you go, if there's one final word you want to drop to everybody, also, man, let us know how people can find you and how they can be a part of the foundation, where they can obviously get that red, white, and blue basketball from. Give us that information.
Absolutely. Yeah, they can go to, if they want to help out, if they want to learn more about Dropping Dimes Foundation or donate, they can go to droppingdimes.org. Droppingdimes.org, or just Google us, Dropping Dimes Foundation, and you'll see what we do. There's a link there where you can donate. And then Lana Sports, which is separate, I want to make sure everybody knows that, it's very separate from Dropping Dimes, even though it's a love and passion of mine. But Lana Sports, we have paid multiple ABA players for endorsements. We have donated tons of basketballs to NBA Africa. We've donated to lots of former ABA players, youth organizations, and we've donated you know, a significant amount to the Dropping Dimes Foundation. But you can go to lanasports.com. You can pick up the only place in the world for the next 20 years where you can buy the original ABA basketball, fully licensed by the NBA, and you can pick up really cool cards that you know that commemorate these ABA players, and of course the whiskey set, which I got to get. We got to talk offline about the whiskey set. We got to get you guys hooked up here, man. But the
Yes,
basketball,
sir.
you know, people should start playing with that ball because the ball rotation that you get when you
It's so
shoot,
pretty. It's so
Yeah.
pretty.
it's
It's
sweet.
Looks
so
so
pretty,
beautiful.
man.
Get the
It is so
ball, get the
pretty.
trading cards. Go on there and
Thank
get the
you.
merchandise. Get the
Listen,
t-shirts, the hoodies.
Let's keep the
man,
memories
Oakland
alive,
Oaks,
man.
baby.
absolutely.